helpful, ambitious, kind, intelligent, maverick, affectionate, logical, lion-hearted, youthful. These are the words that spell his name, Hakim Ali.
Mid-1960s, I was in the University of Karachi. A friend of mine suggested, why don't I start writing advertising or writing scripts? And someone introduced me to Hakim Ali, and there was this office over Bambino Cinema. Hakim Ali very kindly said, why don't you write the documentary, the narration for the 25th anniversary film of Habib Bank. And there I was, some of the very vivid, indelible memories I have of Hakim Ali Saab was his tremendous physical intensity. He was a very intense person, but he felt passionately about whatever he did. At that time in Pakistan, as it is even now, there are no institutions that produce trained technical talent in filmmaking. So the remarkable thing about Hakim Ali was that at that time he sensed the need to fill this vacuum. And he was an entrepreneur, he was also a man with an inborn film sense.
He was almost fearless. And people like Hakim bring a lot of confidence to themselves. And a person of his caliber and confidence always will have friends around him because he's not paranoia. He's not a control freak. He wants to give a lot, and he knows that in return he'll get back. So I'll tell you, in a very favorable part of his personality, that my father opened our first studio, and he was generous enough and confident enough to walk in to our store and congratulate my father and said, listen, I have a studio up the street, and anything I can do, please let me know. So being in a competitive environment, yet bring that kind of personality to come and offer help, that says a lot about someone's having a good soul.
Hakim Ali was legend, professional. In 1976, His Highness the Aga Khan was traveling in Pakistan. Hakim Ali came to me. He wants to produce a documentary of Aga Khan's visit from Karachi to northern area. And I will try my best to show this film to Aga Khan before his departure. Anyway, we successfully covered the entire trip of the Aga Khan. A night before His Highness' departure, while watching film, he was in a very great mood. After the film, I introduced Hakim Ali and his team to His Highness.
Going down the memory lane, I would remember 2 or 3 very specific incidents. Once, Hakim Ali calling me in my office, he said that he realized that the Shah of Saudi Arabia, he is visiting Pakistan and he would want to record a documentary of his visit. So I said, there's no problem, we'll call up. So I called up the ambassador from his office. So I spoke to the ambassador. This ambassador told me that yes, we can do it, and how do you want to proceed? How the visit of the Shah Khalid went in Pakistan. And we recorded that. It was a project that I worked with Hakim Bhai on it as a script writer, and I realized how he went and did all the photography, and it took about a month of editing, and the documentary was really highly appreciated by Riyad al-Khatib, the ambassador of Saudi Arabia.
हाकिम भाई जो थे वो हमारे बड़े फिलांथ्रोपिस्ट थे. ही वुड हेल्प पीपल. अगर उनके पास कोई चला गया है कि जी मेरी ये रिक्वायरमेंट, तो उनकी पूरी कोशिश होती थी कि वो उस रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा करें.
In the 1970s, there were quite a few good advertising people, but one of the most outstanding person that I remember very clearly was Mr. Hakim Ali. He was amiable, loving, welcoming human being, and he knew exactly which take was an okay take, and he'd say, "That's it, that's an okay take."
And Mr. Hakim Ali Manji was a very famous photographer, and he had a chance to accompany His Highness the Aga Khan in 1976, and he had filmed the whole trip from Karachi to Chitral. And he also filmed his speech in the Sirat conference in Lahore in 1976.
मेरा ख्याल है स्किल्स से ज़्यादा एक ताल्लुक़ इंसानों के दरमियान जो होता है, दैट इज़ द हॉलमार्क ऑफ योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि फैमिली के साथ एक अच्छा ताल्लुक़ इतना पुराना 1987 टिल नाउ मुसलसल चलता है। जब हमने भी अपना पोर्ट्रेट बनवाया तो दूसरों ने भी बनाया, मगर फाइनली द पोर्ट्रेट व्हिच हैज़ बीन कॉल्ड द ऑफिशियल पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट वो हाकिम का ही है।
A year later, Hakim Ali died suddenly. I made a humble submission to Hazimam about his passing away, and he graciously sent a message of condolence to the family.
At a very young age, we lost him, but you see the values that he carried. 3 generations later, we still see his spirit and his name still out there in highest possible virtues.